is the impulse to give. Think about that for a second. It's the impulse we have within us to give. And this Christmas season invites us to translate love into action. And one of the ways that we do that is by giving gifts. So all of the gifts that are given and received during the holidays, most of them chosen carefully, some are homemade, but they're given with love. It is the intention behind each gift that makes it so meaningful. When we give with joy and enthusiasm, we're demonstrating and we're actually sharing that love. So what does it mean to be in Christmas around your house, around your life? Do you think of Christmas as elaborate celebrations, exchanging gifts, visiting friends or family? Or is it more quiet for you, embracing the birth of Jesus and what it means in your own life? All of these are possible ways that we love. The sweetness of Christmas arrives by letting go of any desire of perfection and instead letting Spirit lead us in love. I remember when my children became teenagers, how much harder it was for me to find gifts for them. And they would ask for what they wanted. They never asked for much, but I wanted to spend some time thinking about what would they really like, what could they really use all during the year, hoping that I would pick the right thing for them. I'll never forget the disappointment on my son Paul's face. Now, that's not the one that was here last week. That was Matthew. This is Paul. And he tried to hide this look. I have to tell you this. When I was talking about unconditional love, I thought, I've got to tell you this story about Paul. So he received a special gift from me, and it was an electric razor. Well, you know, he had some peach fuzz. He was 14. I thought he would really want that. Turns out he didn't want anything to do with it. And again, he tried to hide his feelings. I can still remember saying to myself, he'll get over it, he'll know, he'll love it at some point in his life. I don't know when, but he will. It ended up in about a week that he came up to me and he said, Mom, I have to tell you something. I love my electric razor. I looked at him, his peach fuzz was gone. So he did it. He did it. He finally loved his gift. You know, we call love conditional a lot of times because we find ourselves disappointed when we give a gift and somebody doesn't respond the way we want them to. I worked on this really hard. I thought maybe everybody, the person I'm giving it to would really be excited about it, and they just weren't. And so when that happens and we feel that disappointment, we recognize that it's not unconditional love. It's not love that's freely given. It's given in a way where I want to hear what I need to hear. That's not what unconditional love is. We endeavor to practice unconditional love, and we sure get chances for that all during these holidays, as we become even more aware that we are birthing the Christ consciousness within us. That Christ consciousness. A long time ago, I read a book by M. Scott Peck called The Road Less Traveled. I bet a lot of you have read that too. And in that book, he helped me understand what love was by saying that love is bringing about the spiritual well-being of yourself and others. Practicing unconditionally is something that I work on and fail at and work on some more. And I have to tell you, my mother-in-law helps me with that. Now, she's not watching. No matter what Gary and I would get her for Christmas, she never liked it. This is what I love about her, she didn't even pretend to like it. She would say, it's okay, you can have it. And then she'd say, did Gary pick it out? Because I can't imagine you'd pick something out like that for me. And I would play dumb, because a lot of times I was the one, just to get through it. So after the holidays, I would take it back or keep it for myself if I really liked it. And then we would try again next year. Until we overheard her say one day, Total Wine, that store, is my Disney World. Okay, she gets a Total Wine card every year. Now, it's not a lot. We don't want to be responsible for anything. But I have to tell you, she told us point blank when she got it, she was thrilled. And you know what she said? My doctor told me I have to have a glass of wine every night before I go to bed. And I go in there, and I have all these different wines I can choose. And I'm not going to argue with her. And I'm not going to argue with her doctor, but that solved our problem for gift giving. Yeah. We hear all the time that we are called to love unconditionally. We have situations in our lives where we get to practice it, and like I said, I'm practicing it a lot. And the good news is that you get in touch with the fact. You get in touch with the fact, I'm not coming from that place right now. I need to change my thinking. Because it only punishes me, not anybody else. So we get to do that, and we spend a lifetime achieving that. Unity emphasizes that love is a divine attribute, an expression of God's nature that resides within each of us. Unconditional love is not merely an emotion. It is a powerful spiritual force that connects us to God and to one another. Think about Jesus. Think about the song that was just sung this morning. Born into humble circumstances, signifying divine unconditional love, and that it is not dependent on our status, our achievements, or our worthiness. It's a love offered equally to all, regardless of background or circumstances. Jesus' birth is the ultimate act of divine unconditional love. What does unconditional love look like? What does it feel like? How do we make it work in our lives? How do we become more awakened to it? Well, I decided to go to what I call the modern day encyclopedia to find research on unconditional love. Now, don't panic. I asked AI to take the wisdom of the ages and put it together. AI is not going away, just so you know that. It is not. AI is so very new to me, and it took me a while to wrap my head around it and understand what it is, something called artificial intelligence. So I did my own research, and I read the book called Digital Dharma by Deepak Chopra, who really enlightened me about how everything in life can be evil or good, can be dark or light. AI is lightness if we want it to be. It's darkness if we believe that that's what it is. I just thought to myself, what happened when the first telephone came out? Oh my God, everybody's going to know our business, everything's going to... Look what's happened. It didn't go away, and look what's happened. We need to embrace that. So I'm going to read some parts of what I got from this, because I don't know anybody that could do it any better than all the wisdom of the ages. Remember, that's what this is. It isn't one person saying it. It's taking all the wisdom of the ages, putting a question in, and boom, 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 you have an answer. Unconditional love is a profound and often complex concept, generally understood as a love that transcends the physical and ego-driven aspects of romantic love, focusing instead on a deep connection with others. It is unconditional acceptance. It is a spiritual love that embraces the entirety of another person, including their flaws and imperfections. I was so glad to read that. Oh, I looked at it 3 times, you know. It's not dependent on specific behaviors or expectations being met. It's a love that says, I love you for who you are, not for what you do. Reading this got me in touch with the immense, unconditional love Jesus demonstrated over and over to us. That selflessness, that willingness to give of himself. And I went to AI to see what they'd say about Charles Fillmore. Just about love. They have a lot to say. That's wonderful. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, says, true love, unconditional love, is not selfish or possessive. It is expressed through acts of kindness, compassion, and generosity. This love is a conscious choice that we make to see the good in others and to treat them with respect and kindness. Unconditional love is grounded in spiritual principles, and it is a shared commitment to spiritual growth. It is a genuine desire to support one another on our journey. I start thinking again. Wow. I am blessed to work in a place, I wouldn't even call this work, it's a joy, because of the beautiful staff we have, because of the volunteers we have. And that includes our board of trustees, they're volunteers. And the Sunday lessons that are delivered each week here really speak of the dedication to supporting one another and this community as we're on our spiritual journey. So I thought, how perfect is that? We're doing exactly what Charles Fillmore talked about. AI also says that it's a deep understanding and empathy for others' feelings and experiences, creating a deep connection and a shared understanding of each other. And while there is a deep connection, love respects the individuality and the autonomy of each person. It does not seek to possess or control the other, but rather to support the growth and independence in each other. If you ever wondered what unconditional love was and ways that you could start practicing it, I certainly got those from that. We have the impulse to love within us because God is love, and the only thing that exists is love. Everything else we've created. Everything else we have created in our own minds. And we hear in John chapter 15, verse 12, we hear Jesus saying, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you." And it wasn't anything he expected us to do that he wasn't doing for us first. That's why Jesus is our way shower. This is why we celebrate this time of year so much and are so excited about the fact that we have this gift. Charles and Myrtle Fillmore in the late 18th century believed in the teachings of Jesus the Christ, and because of that, many profound personal experiences tapped into their lives to the point that they were willing to start this new thought called unity. And we today are sitting in a sanctuary because of their belief and because of how they wanted to push forward that impulse to love for all of us. They believe that unconditional love is deeply spiritual and not based on physical attraction or external factors. It's all about inner beauty, kindness, and having a spirit of that love and kindness for one another. That's unconditional love. It sounds a little simple, doesn't it? Until we get caught up in our ego, and then it can kind of backfire. This is the time of year that we want to awaken even more. That unconditional love can take us to a greater understanding of ourselves and an interconnectedness that we have with all beings, something larger than ourselves. Love is not a passive emotion. It requires conscious effort, awareness, and willingness to grow and evolve. It's a journey of continual discovery and deepening connection brought about by self and others. Isn't that what this season is about? Let me say it again. It's not passive. It requires conscious effort, becoming aware of how we behave toward ourselves and toward others. That willingness to grow and evolve, to quiet that ego that wants to take us the other way a lot of times. Now, we have a good ego too. I'm talking about the ego of lack. And to continue on this journey with one another. I just want to bring up something that we've been doing in this church for years. And a lot of you are sitting there holding exactly what we've been doing, teddy bears. We've had a teddy bear drive going on here for years, and this is an example of unconditional love, as far as I'm concerned. People bringing in teddy bears knowing that this drive is going to be for several weeks and that children at Shadow Lawn and Avalon School and also the Sheriff's Department are going to get teddy bears for children. And what we know from some of the teachers is that sometimes these children only receive one gift, and it's the one we give them. And the sheriff takes all the ones we have left over after we've given them out and put them in the trunk of their car so that when things happen to children, they can go and give them a teddy bear. That's how I have the chills over this. That's how we give our unconditional love in this church every year. So take a teddy bear, will you, and hold it. And if it's not a teddy bear, whatever it is, there's all kinds of things out there. And give it your love. Give your love unconditionally to these children. That energy will stay with them. And believe me, they feel it. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of cooking going on, baking going on, showing love in so many different ways, making grandma's favorite recipes, keeping the traditions going. There's going to be last-minute gifts to buy, parties to attend, neighbors to greet. Why not consider including unconditional love by forgiving someone in your life right now that's very hard to forgive? Somebody that you bring to mind that just bugs the heck out of you. And come and look at this from a different place. That's unconditional love, because that's hard. That's hard. Consider practice loving kindness when you feel like complaining. Instead of complaining, turn it around real quick. You have to do it fast. Comes out quick. You got to do it real fast. And also consider stopping trying to control others. Wanting your own way, jumping in where you shouldn't be because you know better. That's difficult. That's reeling in the ego. I want to share something else with you that is unconditional love that's happening here. We see this demonstrated through the up-and-coming extravaganza. We are existing because of donations that have come in and for all the volunteers that have made this an act of unconditional love. And it's going to be happening this weekend. We don't want to miss it. Don't miss it. And it reminds me of 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 14. Let all that you do be done with love. I know the holidays tend to magnify our relationships with love, and some of it is falling out of love. Some of it's falling in love. Some people hoping they get that engagement ring this year. You know, some people yearning for a new love in their life. Some people suffering and lonely this time of year, healing from their losses. The greatest love we can give ourselves during this time is to practice loving ourselves so that we can be present for others. Stop picking on yourselves. Just stop and appreciate who you really are. When you do that, you are able to increase your enjoyment of this season. And remember that Jesus is our way shower and has given us every example we could possibly need to be happy. Let's treat with love so we can experience peace within and experience the sweetness of the season so we can enjoy Christmas memories and bring about new memories. Taking time to enjoy the sights, the songs, and the scents associated with Christmas. It's a time to love yourself by doing things that express love to others. Every act of love that you share begins with loving yourself. John chapter 4, verse 16 says, God is love, and those who abide in love abide in God, and God abides in them. And from 1 John chapter 3, verse 18, let us love not in words or in speech, but in truth and action. As I look out at every one of you sitting here all the way back in the corner, dear, dear friends, divine love is what unites us and makes this world a better place. Not only during this time of year, but all year long. You're going to hear about love again in February. I know it. I just know it. Yeah. May your week be filled with sweetness. May the divine love that is within you allow you to become aware of the gift of love that you are and the love that you receive all week long. Tune yourself into that love that you're receiving. May you cherish the moments of those who have touched your life with love. I'd like us to end today together. Instead of me ending it, let's end it together with a simple prayer. And it's a slide that we have. And I'm going to say it. I want you to repeat after me. And if you're comfortable, put your hand on your heart. And take a nice breath. As I align myself with God and I choose to love fully and unconditionally, I see myself as divine love. I am generous and courageous in thought and action. This divine love illuminates my heart with radiance. And I am grateful for this knowing. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Thank you for that beautiful prayer, Cher.